Steve Sarkisian was in Texas this week, clearly, and had some very interesting comments about the soft salary cap, saying the teams are going to go over that 20.5 cap when it comes to TV revenue, and somebody's going to get popped for it. I do not want it to be Texas. We do things good here, and I really like that salary y'all are paying me, when he was speaking in front of a coach's clinic last week. Your thoughts of Steve Sarkisian's comments on someone's going to break this cap? Oh, by the way, what just happened in recruiting?
Well, what are you talking about? All the moves that he just made, all the guys that they just brought in?
Yeah, you do it on the day of SEC Media Days, get a kid to commit the same day that you and Georgia are on the same day, and then you're walking out and Kirby's walking out, you're walking in, boom, the kid commits on the spot, flips. You're going to talk to me about salary cap problems and people going over it when you damn well sure are going over them your damn selves.
Okay, well, we don't know if they're going over it or not.
But you know they're spending money.
We don't know. We know that they're spending money, but we don't know if they're going over the salary cap.
I put my commitment from Georgia to Texas because they paid me more.
No. Come on. Just wait for a second. Just because they're spending money, which they have always done in the current era of college football, does not mean that they're going over the salary cap. And I think for the reason that we have spoken very highly of Sark in the past couple of years is the way that he has been the most revolutionary coach. Him and Dan Lanning have been the two that we talk about the most. They have been the best at adapting and getting ahead of the game in being prepared to dominate in the new version of the sport. The sport has changed every single year in how to manage your roster, how to manage NIL, how to manage the transfer portal, all of those things. And that was what he talked about. He talked about how his general manager is focused and locked in on making sure that they don't get themselves into those sticky situations and they're still able to go out there and sling around a lot of money. I will say this, though, the thing that kind of perplexed me about this, Blake, I don't really know what he was implying with this. Like, he was saying that someone's going to get punished for going over the cap. Like, I feel like you'd have to be like really reckless for that to happen. And do we really think that that's going to happen? It seemed like that was kind of like a broad aspersion that he was casting.
Accounting gets shit wrong all the time.
I feel like the teams that have the most money to spend are not going to be that sloppy with it.
No, but they're not going to go through the TV revenue money. They're going to get after it in other sneaky little ways. Hey,
well,
listen,
you're allowed to.
Well, hold on.
Do that.
We're going to pay you a $200,000 TV revenue base. However, we have NIL opportunities that's going to give you up to $1 million. Joe, with all due respect, it's how it's happening.
Yes.
You want to know how these teams are doing? I'm just going to tell you. Literally, you think of these GMs, Brandon Harris, you think of Alston Thomas, whoever the general managers are. Joe, they're base salarying these dudes all over the place. They're giving some more if accounting makes sense to it. And then the rest is going with NIL. Like, literally, Pete Nakos talked about this. Pete Nakos had an interview out there that said, look, we're not going to do any NIL at Georgia, and we're going to pay you the $1 million. We're going to give you $1 million of our TV revenue money. Okay? Joe, I mean, everything, you can slice and dice anything. But I don't get what Sark is trying to say here either. Like, it makes no sense. And then I got to be real with you. It's like the Kirby Smart thing to some extent. Please stop talking to me about you and the portal and things that you're doing. When brother, you flip somebody and we all know how you flipped them. Like, come on.
That I will, and I kind of understand what you were trying to say at the beginning. I reject part of what you were getting at, but you're right. Like, I don't understand I really don't understand what he's trying to preach here. And he's also not really the best messenger for responsible spending. And I'm not saying that what he's done is irresponsible. That's not what I'm saying. I just, again, I don't, is he trying to Is he trying to imply that he thinks people are already finding ways to violate?
Did you feel like it was a shot at Texas Tech and a Texas coaches clinic when they just got Felix Ojo?
Maybe that's what this is.
That's how I read it too. He's
That's
taking
the only way.
He's taking a shot at. Why are you going to a coaches clinic in Texas and literally saying, well, I'm just going to let you know some of these teams are already doing it, and I'm not going to be the one to get hit? That sounds like some petty rival Texas stuff with Felix Ojo.
That's the only thing that I could clock on this, because if we're just trying to read into it of like what is his forward-thinking approach on this, I get he's trying to say that we're going to put our resources making sure we're organized and we're allotting certain amounts of money for certain position groups and guys that have earned it, blah, 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 whatever. But that's not what he said. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it from that angle where he's digging into Texas Tech. It's the most logical talking point.
You know why? Because Texas Tech pulled a move on Texas that Texas did to Georgia.
Texas Tech pulled a move on Texas that Texas did to Georgia. So they stole a guy away from them that they thought
not
they were
paying a shitload of money. Again, Joe, the best quote of last season, the best quote in recruiting, and it's not close, came from Justice Terry when he flipped to Texas. When he said, and I'm quoting, shit, they gave me more money. What was I supposed to do? I mean, come on. Texas Tech did it for one dude. You did it 3 times already to Georgia. Like, you're going to reap what you sow, Sark. Like, calm down a little bit. But here's the truth, and I got to be real with you. There are going to be teams that go over the cap here, and I got to throw something at you. I don't know if I don't give a lot of teams grace in year one.
Oh yeah, that's my whole point with this. That like I don't totally get what he was really trying to get at, minus him taking the shot at Texas Tech. I don't think that there's going to be aggressive punishments for this, because I don't think that this is like some heinous act to go over the revenue share. This is what's like the craziest that we haven't really talked about. Is what does that mean in the future of the sport? That is such an ambiguous thing that I could possibly say on this show right now. I have no idea what it means if somebody goes over. Does it mean that they're illegally recruiting? Does it mean that they're going to get fined? Does it mean that they lose scholarships? Or does it mean that they just say, hey, you got to fix this so that you have to cut a player? Because in the NFL, you can go in the negative on the cap. The Saints have been in the negative in the cap for a very long time.
Not
the way that you get out of that the first time. The way you get out of that, and you've got a grace period of time to figure that out, you got to cut players. You got to trade players. You got to move money.
Or you got to pay everybody guaranteed money to get the cap number down.
So what do we I don't understand. Like, I don't think Sark, I'm not saying that Sark's dumb, but like, I don't think that Sark really knows what that looks like.
Nobody knows.
I hate this.
Nope. Joe, do you think that Steve Sarkisian is doing the accounting of what players are getting paid? You get out of my face.
Well, no, so he said that he's not, but who's the former LSU?
Brandon Harris.
Brandon Harris is the one who's responsible for that.
But he's telling him, but Sark probably hears all these numbers being thrown around all day long in recruiting and is basically like, dude, there's no way that all these teams are going to have this amount of money. There's no way. And it's like, what I don't know if, look, I would be surprised if coaches know where the actual money came from in its minutia. Hey, do you think that someone goes up to Ryan Day and says, hey, 39% of this is coming from NIL, the other 61% is coming from, or 60 whatever percent is coming from the TV revenue money? Nobody's doing that. They're not telling head coaches that. So it felt like a shot for Felix Ojo, but again, it comes off to me in a place where it's like, dude, you're spending a shitload of money right now to flip players that have no business going to your school.
Yeah. Yeah.
None.
I think that's what it was.
Joe, we're going to look back on this in 3, 4, 5 years and say more in-state 5 stars flipped than ever before. Because it's literally happening.
That's you might
Joe,
be on something there.
Because people are going out there and paying them. Bryce Underwood, Justice Terry, and what's happening with Georgia right now. You're going to sit here and tell me that used to be the norm. Sometimes, yes, in the past when kids kind of want to make a splash, but they were never committed to schools. I remember what happened in February, and you found out where everybody went. Like, oh, shit, Oregon got who? Oh, shit, bro, Bama just flipped 17 people. What the fuck is going on? You know, like, what is going on?
With all the unexpected commitments that we had at the end of this cycle, or not at the end of the cycle, in the middle of the cycle, in the beginning of July, you alluded to this, the Calvin Russell, probably not Ojo, but Calvin Russell was the bigger example. There's going to be a lot of these kids that do change their mind. We saw it last signing day, as you just said. Last signing day, there were a bunch of last-minute moves because a lot of these teams, they lose a commitment in July. These schools realize, all right, just stay in contact. Just stay in touch. We're not going to give them a counter offer right this second. Let's see how the season goes. Let's assess our roster when signing day's a week away, and then we'll adjust the offer. That's how it feels like the new approach is, because now that there's money involved, and it's not just trying to hound a kid and texting and calling him all the time and trying to get him to come play for you.
It's so funny you're bringing this up. This is literally happening with baseball from a MLB to college baseball transaction every year.
Yeah.
Joe, the best pitcher in college baseball, Marco Paz, did not go in the first round this year because he had Tommy John surgery. There's no business he has no business hitting LSU's campus. None. LSU won out because people didn't want to pay the kid. The MLB teams didn't want to pay the kid what they thought he would be after Tommy John surgery. LSU comes in here. They do some things. I mean, it gets to a place where, Joe, I'm sitting back and saying, like, listen, none of this shit makes sense to me anymore. None of it. Because the money is thrown around here and all the sports. Joe, what the hell's happening in basketball? Like,
I refuse to try to assess what the hell happens with basketball. Basketball recruiting in the transfer portal.
It is absolutely insane.
Different level of chaos. And I have noted, I liked watching college basketball this year.
But did you see the dude from Florida? Joe, his Nike deal was over $2 million. Just his Nike deal. Then what Florida's giving him. And I'm like, brother.
I don't know where the bread's coming from.
High day. Mm-hmm. Individually, by average, I think some of the higher end play and money is coming in basketball. And we're not talking about it. Joe, you got one kid on a TV deal, got a $1.8 million signing bonus to sign with Nike, then goes to Air Jordan. Then he goes to a Jordan school. How do you think that worked?
There's a lot more money to go around for less roster spots. And I think that it's a lot easier to bankroll and to stuff money into building a basketball team than it is a football team. So, that's why we're seeing BYU right now. They've done some decent things in football recruiting. They got Ryder Lyons, but they have, I'm going to butcher his name, #1 basketball recruit for the upcoming class.
Yeah.
He's committed. That's
Mormon money going strong, baby. Mormon money coming.